Welcome back to the joint, where we're actually in the joint. So let's just kind of recap the past couple weeks here, right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the joint, back here down in the lair of Justin and all things Justin-esque. I don't know. I'm trying to keep the cringe at a maximum level here, so. Anyhow, what we're doing right now is we're going to go ahead and pack up some of this. I've got my handy dandy tobacco loading device, and it's too bad that it's black actually, because it's hard to show. I mean, it's kind of hard for the camera to see, but what we have here is some Ashton Consummate Gentleman. This is the tobacco that I picked up in Manhattan while I was there at the Davidoff of Geneva store. So, you know, I smoked a cigar in there, but I also picked up this tin of pipe tobacco just because I wanted to. And I will tell you, I think I've mentioned this in a couple of previous videos, but I have smoked some of this, and the moisture level, at first I thought it was pretty good. It might be just a little on the moist side for starters, but nothing too terribly moist that would make it hard to smoke or an unpleasant experience. So today I'm gonna load this guy up in my Savinelli Roma, this black pipe here with this kind of nice, whatever kind of stem that is. I don't even know what kind of a stem it is. I saw it and I thought, ooh, it's pretty. I got this microphone really close to me today. Hopefully you're not getting too much like popping. So, got the bowl all loaded here. We're just gonna give it a quick tamp. Then we're gonna give it a quick test draw just to make sure we don't have it too tight or too loose. You're going for that like perfection. You're going for that perfect draw. That might be just a smidge on the loose side. So let me just add a pinch more tobacco here to the top. And we're just gonna ever so slightly tamp it down. Just tamp it down. Just tamp it. Just tamp it. That's perfect. Alright, so I went ahead and got it all jarred up. You can see my chicken scrawl here, Ashton Consummate Gentleman. And then, you know, you can kind of sort of see the tobacco there. I know my camera doesn't do it justice. I just don't care. I mean, I do care, but I don't. So I brought a whole bunch of other tobaccos in here to kind of compare it, but I think it's too early for that. I really haven't smoked but maybe 3 or 4 bowls of this stuff, and I kind of feel like it's not fair for me to give my impression about, you know, this tobacco in general, or, you know, how it compares to other tobaccos of the same genre that it's in. So I'm just gonna smoke it. I'm just gonna have a smoke, and I'm gonna use these long ass matches that I got from the Davidoff store. See, look how luxurious it is. Just, oh yeah. So here we go. Charring light. Well, that just goes to kind of show you. I could take off and smoke this right now. Yep, I got a piece of tobacco. Yeah, that's never good. So the charring light actually took, and now that I'm just gonna yap my jaw for a little while, it is probably not lit anymore. However, I'm gonna finish lighting it with my Zippo, if you don't mind. And of course, I've got the obligatory cup of coffee to go with this. I will tell you something. Something about being a pipe smoker, okay? It's much different than being a cigarette smoker in a lot of ways. And I've mentioned this before, how, you know, just in general, society tends to lump cigar smokers and pipe smokers and cigarette smokers all into the same group. And the fact of the matter is that it doesn't get any further from reality than that. I mean, not to say that cigarette smokers are bad people, but cigarette smoking in general is disgusting. I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, you inhale smoke, which just seems stupid. It tastes nasty. And I know this because I used to smoke cigarettes back in my army days. Tastes nasty. And then when you're done, you're left with a butt, which most people flick. They just flick it out and don't worry about it. It's somebody else's problem now. It's the Earth's problem now. And so you wind up with cigarette butts just flicked everywhere. Okay, well, with a cigar, for instance, you can smoke a cigar all the way down, and you can actually flick that cigar out because all it is leaves. I mean, if you want to just put it out, most of the time if I have a cigar in the backyard, I'll throw it in the backyard on purpose. You know, because next time I mow over it, it's going to turn into compost, and, you know, it just turns into nutrients for my grass. Cigarette filters, not the case. They don't biodegrade. With a pipe, you finish a pipe, you keep your pipe. I mean, there's no way I'm going to throw this thing away. Heck no. That's just stupid. I mean, maybe when you get done, you dump your ashes out, but it's just ashes at that point. There's not anything involved in pipe or cigar smoking that is really bad for the environment, quite like cigarette butts are. Nothing. So that's number one, which annoys me about people lumping pipe and cigar smokers in with cigarettes. And then, you know, the second thing is, cigars not so much maybe, but pipes, the smoke, now maybe I'm being a little bit biased because I am a pipe smoker, but I like the way that it smells. And anytime I go smoke and have a pipe in public, about every time, yes, pretty much every time anybody's ever said anything to me about my pipe in public, it's always been positive. They've always mentioned how good it smells, or how it's so interesting to see somebody smoking a pipe, because you don't see that anymore. I mean, when I was in New Jersey, I didn't put this in the video. But as I was walking to the laundromat with my suitcase, there was a guy following me, and I knew he was back there. I didn't get a good look at him, but I knew he was back there, and he followed me for a long time. So I was smoking a pipe. I decided to pull off to the side and get a tamp in, because I really did need to get a tamp in, and it's hard to tamp your pipe when you're got one hand holding your suitcase and you're walking. So I pulled off to the side, tamped my pipe, and he mentioned, number one, that it smelled good, and number two, that it was cool to see somebody smoking a pipe, because that's something you don't see anymore. And that's the fact. If I had been smoking a cigarette, he wouldn't have said anything to me. As a matter of fact, he probably would have thought I was a disgusting individual. It's my big gripe about people lumping pipe smokers in with cigarette smokers. Now, I smoked outside the hotel a couple of times, and it was no big deal. the dingo just farted right there. And it's gonna stink. But anyway, back to the topic. So I smoked my pipe outside the hotel, and it was no big deal. Okay, and it was really cold in New Jersey the whole time I was there, pretty much, and very windy, which is not conducive to smoking a pipe at all. So I just didn't wind up smoking a pipe that much. And honestly, that's okay, because when you smoke a pipe, you don't tend to be addicted to nicotine, because it's not like smoking cigarettes. You know, one of my coworkers who was also in town from another city, he is a cigarette smoker, and you know, I don't think he's super addicted to cigarettes, but I mean, it's very obvious that, you know, he had to go down several times a day, brave the cold, to get his nicotine fix. Whereas me, I could, if it's cold as crap outside, yes, I would like to smoke a pipe. But when I smoke a pipe, it's all about relaxation. It's all about taking a minute for myself to just reflect on certain things that I'm doing, or to think about things, or to think about nothing, okay? I'm not going to go stand out in single-digit temperatures with a wind chill that takes it way below zero to have a pipe. No, I'm not going to do it, because it's, at that point, it's not relaxing and it defeats the purpose, and I'd rather not smoke a pipe than have to do that. So, you know, it's just another thing where it's insane for people to lump pipe smokers and cigar smokers into this one basket with cigarette smokers, because two different things. Now that I've gone on this rant for probably 10 minutes, I'm gonna get off of it. It's kind of funny, ooh-wee, that I had to come back to Colorado to get nice weather. You know, usually people think of Colorado as being cold in the winter and snowy all the time, and yeah, those two things. I mean, if you would ask somebody what they thought the climate in Denver was like, that's probably what they would tell you. And I'm here to tell you that that is completely incorrect. Completely incorrect. The whole time I was in New Jersey, it was windy. That's number one. I hate wind. You don't get a whole lot of wind here. And it was cold. And it was, you know, the humidity from just being close to a body of water makes it even colder. It makes it feel even colder. And here, you know, it gets cold and it'll snow, and then you get a break and it gets warm again. You know, I mean, basically Denver is in the high desert. We're right at the base of the Rocky Mountains, but we're not in the Rocky Mountains. You can see them from here, but you're not there. I mean, you're still just kind of out in the plains, right? So basically from here all the way east to the state border, it's just flat. I mean, high desert is what I would call it. It's you don't get a lot of rain. You don't get just a ton of moisture. It's sunny most of the time. It's great. So for that very reason, it was nice to come home, because it's like 60 degrees outside. I don't even know why I'm doing this here. No, I know why I'm doing this here. I'm doing this here because I don't want to have to drag all this. Oh, hello, I don't have to drag all this equipment out onto the deck. Now, I could just take my phone and, you know, go old school. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I could. But now my OCD that I've got this whole system rigged up where I can get a decent sound audio quality, it's not good enough for me. It's not good enough because I am a perfectionist. Anyway, so last week I meant to try to put up some videos. You know, we ended up going to DC, and that was kind of cool, but it was a very, very fast trip. I mean, we went from Newark to DC back to Newark in a day. You know, it was cool because I got to see the Capitol building. Okay, I saw the Washington Monument. I saw the Lincoln Memorial. We drove by the Pentagon on our way to the office. But then we had to haul ass and get out of there fast because at the end of the day there was supposedly a big storm coming, and I don't know if it actually stormed that much or not, but I can tell you we sat in traffic in our Uber for like an hour with an Uber driver who very obviously didn't know what he was doing because we took the roundabout way to get from Vienna, Virginia back to Union Station in Washington. But that's okay. We made it. We didn't miss our train. And I guess that's all that mattered. And, you know, once we made it there, we had enough time to grab a cup of coffee and board the train, which was nice. Another thing, living in the middle of the country that you don't get is the train. You know, the amount of trains that run on the East Coast from, you know, whether it's like a light rail going from one place to another in town, or whether you're taking a, you know, an Amtrak train from one town to another town. Like we rode the train ride for us from Newark Penn Station to Union Station in Washington was about 3 hours each way. And the train was full. Pretty much the train was full the whole time. You know, it stopped at various places. And we didn't take the high-speed Acela Express train or whatever. We just took the slow train. So, you know, we made it there. But there was a lot of people that used the train, and the train stations are busier than some of the busiest airports I've been in. I mean, and that tells you something about how many people use the train system on the East Coast, which is kind of interesting. It's something that I wish we had more in this part of the country, because I will tell you, being a tall person, that riding the train was so much more comfortable. You know, the seats are not spaced so close together so that, you know, no matter what you do, the guy in front of you is sitting in your lap. Yeah, that wasn't the case. You know, I could sit there as a 6'3" guy with like super long femurs. I mean, these things are gigantic here. I could sit comfortably in my seat with still like a foot of room in front of me. Maybe not a foot, but I mean, you get the point. I was comfortable the whole time, both directions. On an airplane, not so much. The downfall about a train is that if I wanted to go, let's say for instance, from here back to Newark, that's about a 48-hour ride as opposed to a 4-hour flight. So I guess it has its trade-offs. You know, trains can't go 500 and 600 miles an hour. However, if it was just me going somewhere on vacation, I would prefer the train. If I didn't have to be anywhere soon, I would definitely take the train because it's just so much more laid back. Just so much more laid back. You can get out of your seat whenever you want to. They have the cafe car you could go to. I mean, maybe for 48 hours that would get old, and I might change my tune a little bit if I actually did it. But right now, I could tell you I would be willing to try it. So, you know, anyway. I keep talking. I keep letting this go out. All right. So, Consummate Gentleman. This is kind of an English blend. I don't have the tin in front of me. I actually hung it up on my wall of tins. But it's Virginia with Maryland and Burley and just a little bit of Latakia. And I can tell you right now, you can detect the Latakia, but I think that the little bit of Latakia is right. You know, you don't get that heavy, really heavy smell that you get from it. I mean, you could detect it a little bit, but not quite like some heavier Latakia offerings. All that said, you know, I really like it. It's a good tobacco. I'm not gonna sit here and try to give it an in-depth review at this point because, as I've made very clear, my reviews suck anyway. I'm just a guy who smokes it. You know, I'll tell you if I like it or not. I'm not gonna tell you what it's like and if it's, you know, got essence of monkey fart or something like that. I ain't doing that. I'm just smoking it, and if I like it, I like it. And when it comes to this, it gets the Justin's Joint seal of approval. I like it. It's good. It's very good, actually. So far, it hasn't had a tendency to bite, which is good. It's very good. Very nice, pleasant smoke. So, you know, if you like a nice English blend and you haven't tried it yet, it might be worth, I would say this is a pretty safe bet. I think that if you like an English blend and you haven't tried this and you're looking for something different, you're not going to hate it. I will tell you that. As, I mean, you know, one sucky reviewer to whoever, you're not going to hate it. I mean, you'll like it. It may not be your favorite, but it's not going to be one of those ones that you buy like my Innerdale that I got, and you're going to smoke 1 or 2 bowls of it and then, you know, never smoke it again. Who knows? But that's my general opinion on that blend. But I think this video has gone on plenty long enough. I'm sitting at 22.5 minutes of raw video, which will get edited down a little bit. However, I needed to get this put together because I was so busy last week I didn't get any videos created for the channel, and I want to kind of keep things rolling. I'm committed to at least putting something on here at least, you know, once or twice a week, and I didn't have a chance to do that last week. Last week was just balls to the wall, 100% all week. So now that I'm home, hopefully I have a chance to at least take a little bit of a break ever so often, have a bowl with you guys, and just chat. So till next time down here in the joint, where we are actually back in the joint, we'll see you guys later.